So put your computer to sleep or close your laptop lid. Today's Thursday, September 17, and we're in week 4 of the class. And what I'd like to learn from all of you is any questions that you have. We covered a lot of stuff. We tend to do 2 things in this class. I tend to try to demo for most of you skills in InDesign that I want you to have and get a good start with for the semester. Raise your hand if you think that serves you. So do it really high because I really want an assessment. Okay, so that looks like most of you. Yeah, I'll repeat it. I asked if you felt that it was useful that I demo InDesign skills to you. Okay. And the reason for that is, oh, there we go. The reason for that is I would like, because most of you don't start with InDesign skills here. And by the end of the semester, your final project is you're going to create a brochure, which is going to combine original graphics, is a unique way of folding and die cutting something. Die cutting means cutting a weird shape and having it fold to look interesting. And combine text and graphics in a final piece, and I think you mail it to me, which means it has to go through the Postal Service successfully. Yeah, deep sigh, right? That's a big project. That's a big project. And without the right InDesign skills, you're going to struggle and have angst. And I don't want you to struggle, and I don't want you to have angst. I want you to feel masterful. I really want you to feel masterful. And that's why I'm demoing a lot, which I think makes things a little different than necessarily the structure of how the class reads in Moodle. And it, like Lori said today when she came, Roxanne gave her a recap of the mobile game device design, and I added at the last minute that I want you to have 3 screens. And I added it because I think that you can take the same graphic elements, basically, reconfigure the layout, maybe add some text or buttons, but basically move through the game successfully. And I wanted you to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Here's your splash screen. Here's me playing the game, 1 screen. Here's the end of what you've achieved, basically. Okay? That's really how I see it. And I think it serves you because when you develop a portfolio to show anybody, or you show somebody that you've successfully done something, by having the beginning, middle, and end, it means you've thought something through critically. I mean, it's just a little mobile game, but it means that you're a critical thinker, and I think that's really important. It also helps you practice scaling elements, and because you're creating your graphics in Illustrator, not Photoshop, your graphics are scalable. Illustrator graphics can go really small and really big and be really flexible. How many of you believe that your future is graphic design? I forget this. Okay, that's a good amount of you. So if you create the graphics for this game and down the road you want to add this game to your portfolio because you're proud of it and you could show that you design for mobile devices and you put this little game screen on a mobile device, you can also take that screen of the mobile device and make a web page that says download this game. So now you're a web interface designer. And then you could also take that mobile game and put it on a transit billboard at the freeway that says download this now, and the first 1 million who downloaded are immediately entered in the lottery, or whatever. But you can take one graphic and milk it, truthfully, if you understand how to keep your illustrations and how to repurpose something. And now you've developed a complete huge campaign instead of one little tinkery screen for a mobile game device in this class, and you discard it and think that was not useful. I want to build things that are really practical for you and fun, hopefully. Okay, do you all see the vision with my vision? Okay. Because I also teach the portfolio class, and I can't tell you how many students have one graphic of a magazine cover and think, bless you, and think that fills their graphic design category, bless you. And it doesn't necessarily. And have one mobile game device and think that says, yep, I'm a mobile game designer. Well, I want them to know that you're an everything designer and you know how to critically think, whether it's print or web or handheld devices. I'm losing my mobile devices, thank you. So I just want you to think expansively. So thank you. Now the other part is you got a lot going on in this class, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I want to stay with a mobile game device, and there's a few things that I didn't finish up last week. One was Kuler, I kind of rammed through. Which Kuler, Adobe Color. Would you like me to help you a little further with Adobe Color, or was it just too fun and you tinkered on your own? Jay, you know it, right? Kuler, Adobe.
Question, for each thumbnail sketch, do you want a different palette?
No. The idea is you go to Adobe Color. Nobody wanted me to redemo it, right? Okay. You go to Adobe Color and you find many palettes to decide what you like best, and then stay with one palette. When you design something and you want a consistent brand, what color is Coca-Cola, you guys?
Red.
Okay. And what color is Bank of America?
Red.
And what color, nobody knows Tiffany's.
Turquoise.
Turquoise. Who knows Tiffany's? Yeah. See, you're like heroes to all people you buy presents for, right?
They don't like it when there's not Tiffany's in the actual box. So.
Yeah. Turquoise blue. Tiffany's is an American thing. If you're not American born, you might not know Tiffany's. I'll just show you a Tiffany's box. There you go. There you go. So you get the idea? Consistent color branding creates an identity. So in regard to your color palettes, for whatever you're designing, Kuler's awesome for grabbing a color palette and constraining you. Otherwise, you're going to look at all those swatches in InDesign and Illustrator and you're going to go wild. And we don't want you to go wild. We want you to stay very constrained. Okay? That creates a consistent brand. Everybody get that? All right. Okay, so then what I'm going to start with then is find my downloads folder and scroll to the top. And we're going to start with you, Paul. Okay? And I really have to figure out how to close all this stuff. All these windows bug me. Okay, view. Page display. I got to get better at this. There, that's what I want. Okay, so Paul, will you do me a favor and come up here, please? Okay, so Paul, can I speak for you for a second?
Yeah.
Kindly. It's not yours?
Nope.
It's not yours?
Nope.
Oh, that's Emily's. Oh, so you started with a design brief. So come up here, then okay, let me pull down Paul's though. Hang on one second. I want to see whose is shorter. Paul's was yours shorter? Why do I make you come up here? Are you mobile work or mobile device?
Mobile work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you'll come back, Emily, really. Okay, so tell us about yours, Paul. Just talk about it and what.
So I just watched what you were doing
Uh-huh.
and decided to do the same thing.
Okay.
So I have my title page like you did, and then my design brief. I don't think I picked a good font. I was just kind of looking through and
Okay.
picked one.
All right.
So I have the answered questions. So the game is Lion Pride. It's like a strategy hunting game from like an eagle eye view. Goals of the game is to eat food while hunting, and do you want me going through all these?
Yeah.
Okay. How you win is you beat the clock while surviving, while eating, having enough food for the pride or whatever, and
Can you go back there?
the age limit for the game is all ages, because there's different difficulties. It's I checked and it said it was timed, that you're playing against the clock, but from the screenplay on the YouTube videos, there didn't seem like there was a clock. So I guess it's just like you don't know how long the time is. You can't play against other people. It's just kind of you versus the computer, and there is a pause button, a score tracker, and a meat counter.
Kind of gross, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's great.
And then color palettes, I did 3. I didn't have the code thing, so I kind of just screenshotted the.
That's fine.
Okay, so I kind of there's somewhat similar. I wanted like a beige-ish, but I wanted some green for the grass because I looked at the kind of the gameplay, and I was thinking it should be similar at least.
Okay.
So those are the 3 I came up with. I did some research images, and I looked at other game like logos and like screen titles or whatever. So this is the actual one that we looked at, and these are some other ones. And I didn't do my thumbnails yet because I was just doing what you were doing. And then I looked on the vector sites that the thing provided, and I got I had a question about that. What should I do? Should I just go into Photoshop and clean this up right here?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Whoops. All right. So yeah, I got some backgrounds, and I was thinking about just the title page, I guess, or like the starting screen. And that's basically everything I got.
That's great. That's great. Big applause for. Great. So, what's that?
Anything else?
No, I'll talk about your stuff. How's that?
All right.
So, what I was going to say about Paul is, this is like your first time ever with InDesign.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's just a big compliment to you, because InDesign takes a while to get used to. So I really compliment you that you were able to follow the pages, the text. Good for you. You're just going to get better with it, okay? They have spell check in InDesign, edit spell check. So you can always submit things that help correct spelling. What you might start to look at this page, and I'm not going to make it, you're not going to get graded necessarily on this, but I would like for you to get skilled at it. So maybe you decide that the question is not in bold and the answer is in bold.
I had a lot of questions about that for some reason. Every single time I copy pasted all the questions because I was trying to do exactly what your video did.
Yeah.
It always moved them to the side, and
Yeah.
every single time I did a return to
Yeah.
answer the question, it moved so like the question was like kind of spaced out, and
Yeah.
then the answer started like way out there. And I was trying to play with the settings, trying to play with the to get in all the way to the left.
Yeah.
I just had to manually like delete all the spaces.
Well, you know what? You just exactly said what you needed to do. You just said it, actually. So in InDesign, there's always a little dot which shows a letter space between each word. And my guess is by my copying it off that web page, it had somebody going space, space, space when they set up that web page. So you had to manually delete them. You're absolutely right, you did.
I actually did it from just that spot. I didn't get any of the spaces. I was playing with it, and it just wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was really.
Well, you're gonna get more control over it. So what happens is a lot of times somebody will tab like doing this, which you will never do in your life. How many of you tab now like that? Okay. In InDesign, just so you know, I can select all, Command A, and I can go to type, and I can go to tabs. And with my text box and my type active, I can now add tabs, a left, a center, a right tab, a decimal point tab right here. So if I just click here, now I have a left alignment tab. So if I click Lion Pride right there in front of it and I tab over, it's going to align. And if I go to this next line, tab over, it'll tab that beginning of that line. Okay? if I wish, for example, to actually do what I think you did, honestly, which was everything lined up here. I'm not sure how you successfully did that.
Tab.
You tabbed over?
I just one tab.
And then how did you tab this ing part?
I just tabbed it.
You tabbed it. Okay. So what you can do is I can take this copy that's not bold. Let's see, I gave it a paragraph style. Body copy, right? I can double click on body copy and I can go to indent. And I'm going to turn preview on so you can watch it happen. And instead of tabbing it, I can indent that entire paragraph. So if I go to left indent, all my body copy left indents. Yeah? All right. But this one was bold, and I called that subhead. So if I go back to subhead, subhead is based on body copy, which is why it just changed. Remember how I based it? And then I just changed the font to make it a bolder font and bigger. I can go back to indented spacing. It just saw what I did, and I can remove it. And I have no indent for my subheads, right? And so if you don't want to tab every time, which would make you crazy, because if you change the point size and your line length's too long or something, it screws everything up to tab it. Everybody get that? All right. But Paul, I think you did a really good job with this. The fact that you started a design brief in InDesign and you created a consistent page placement. Then we go to your next page and we look at where it says design brief and the word color palettes is in the same location. That's because you followed that and set it up on a master page, I'm pretty sure. No, you didn't? You just pasted it?
I was getting confused. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
I was tinkering with it, but then I just kind of...
You eyeballed it.
I eyeballed it and kind of worked with the ruler.
All right.
So it was in the same
And you
spot.
also placed screen captures.
Yeah.
Right. See, you're doing really good. Research images here. So gather research. You'll probably end up having more by the time you're done. I know you didn't do your thumbnails yet. And here you went to like Vecteezy to look for some safari, wilderness, wildlife landscapes, okay? So later today, I want to show you what we can find at some of these free illustration websites, okay? So I think that'll help you build stuff. Would that help you? Is that a yep?
All the relevant pictures I could find on most of those sites just redirected me to Shutterstock, and they wanted me to pay money.
Yeah, that's because you dealt with the top stuff. So we'll look a little
Okay.
further for you, okay? But to tell you the truth, to be very honest with all of you, like this one, let's say, one of the advantages of finding a stock illustration that has 2 giraffes and 2 elephants and 3 birds and 2 trees, and notice how the trees are identical. Notice one's flopped and one's lighter. Can you see? Is you start getting all the pieces for for your composition, and then you learn how to use them. You learn how to flop them or change the color tone or overlap them, and you start to build a composition by that. And we can kind of play with it because I know for most of you, Illustrator's pretty new. Yeah? All right. The other thing is look at these elephants. You flop them horizontally into the water and you shade them. Yeah? All right. And it's not hard drawing a circle, and it's not hard drawing a wavy line to make a mountain, right? So if you go find the right components to build something, you'd be surprised at how quickly you can build your graphics with it, all right? And I want you to feel comfortable with that. So your question, Paul, was what do I do with this guy? Do I go in Photoshop and clean it up? I know you want to go to Photoshop the whole time. I know you do. And the answer to that one is don't go to Shutterstock. They're going to charge you. Don't use the raster image.
I was looking through like page 15, and all the good pictures are, like the top ones that you have to pay.
Yeah, we'll look. We'll see
And
what
I
you can do.
understand that it's like, a class project. So, I mean,
Yeah, don't pay for it.
exactly.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. So let's find ways that you don't have to pay for it and you could design something new. I mean, you all had the benefit of watching me make my silly little lion, which looks pretty silly. But, if right now I just draw a little oval right there, and I eyedrop it to the head, and then I go to my selection tool and I duplicate it. Now my lion has ears and he looks a little more like a lion. Or maybe a bear cub, I don't know which. What? Wait, let's see. There. Yeah, he is a lion, right? Don't insult him. He is the king of the jungle. There, is that better? Even bigger than that, right? But you get my idea. Or I can kind of tug on his little cheeky things here, right there. I hate this. This is the thing that I have to always change. That's default. Smart Guides in Illustrator. Makes me crazy. If you select, hitting Command Y, which is View Outline, if I took that segment of this lion and watch this shape, and I tug on the handle of that vector there and that vector there, let's go back to View Preview. You can see my lion's face is going to change shape a little, and I'm grabbing just this segment between that vector point and the bottom vector point because the circle just has 4 needed, right? Oops. Got to click off of it and grab it again. But I can start to change the shape of my lion a little. And since he's not so round, he's starting to look more lion-y, maybe. I don't know. You guys get to decide. You're going to spend more time on it than I am, I assume, I hope. But in other words, it's worth the try. Yeah, it's worth the try for all of you. Okay, let me save my lion again, even though he keeps morphing. And actually, let me take these guys, hold my shift key down. Let me enlarge them one more time. I'm going to hold my option key down. I'm using the scale tool. They're both active. I'm clicking here as my point of origin. I'm holding my option key and I'm dragging outward, whoops, and I'm dragging outward as I scale them. And the double arrow means I'm duplicating them. And the reason why I wanted to do that was I was going to take that circle and that circle, I know you can't see them very well, and go to my color panel, which if I show options, I'm in Illustrator by the way, if I show options and I just shade that a little, and I go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, you know, maybe my lion's starting to get a little better, I don't know. Maybe not, I don't know. But you get the idea, right? Okay, so back to you, Paul. You have a great start on it. You have a great start on it. And you have a great start in just getting mastery in InDesign. So I really compliment you. And now you can go back to your original InDesign document and continue to add to this. Okay? All right. And Emily, now you get to come up here. Okay? Please. So are you new to InDesign too?
I've taken a semester of like media design, so I know like a little bit. But I was trying to do like the master pages like you were showing.
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of issues with it, so I didn't do like a bunch of pages.
That's
I need to add them, but I did the Giraffes Matching the Zoo game, and it's like concept of the game. It's like a child's memory game, and the goal of the game is just like a memory game. You receive points for every match you get. And then it's for toddlers and like older children. So the audience is probably for like the kids and the parents of the kids like downloading the app to make sure that it's okay for them. It's single player mode, not really shareable. And so I went to Cooler and did like a couple designs because I wanted to have like, the app actually was like a hippo and it was called Giraffes Matching Game. So I figured I should do a giraffe and not a hippo because I was kind of
right?
a little off. So I wanted a giraffe colors and then I just did a complementary scheme, so like the blue matched well with it, and I didn't do like the actual, I think I did the thumbnails wrong, but I was just thinking like this would be like the square for the app, and this would be like when you open it, and then I just did an alternative just in case it was like faced a different way.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't like done the rest of it, like when you're actually playing the game. Or
Did you draw it?
Yeah.
So tell people how you draw it.
Just an Illustrator. I used the
do you have
pen
skill
tool
in Illustrator?
a little bit.
Okay, so you come with some history.
Yeah, I just used the pen tool and like the circle tool and used my cooler color thing to make the giraffe in the background.
That's great. That's great. Right? Right? So that's great. You did terrific. You're thinking out loud. She doesn't have her thumbnail sketches of the game screens yet, right? But she's got her, you got your arms around your protagonist, your giraffe, right? So I'm going to do something right now just to help you all see the advantage of this. Let's start here. And probably the way I might consider building it. So one of the things I can do is, because you created your graphics in Illustrator, I can go to Illustrator, locate your download. Yours is called Device Brief, right? Yeah, I do too. And I can click Open, and because you drew those in Illustrator, your PDF's going to let me open it in Illustrator, because I'm going to play with it for you. Okay?
I think I took a screenshot. So
Oh, don't tell me that.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's find out. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, she took a screenshot. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Live trace it. And
Yeah, I can. That's the time where Live Trace makes life a little bit easier. It's true, but you know what? This is actually going to serve me really well. I'm going to lock down your giraffe. Who's new to Illustrator in here? Okay. So Illustrator has layers, and like everything in any creative cloud software, you have palettes, and you can find most everything on Window. So here's layers, and at your layer panel, layers in Illustrator functions more like it does in InDesign. It's like stacking pieces of paper, which is less like Photoshop for those who are Photoshop users. So I'm going to create a new layer, and what I want you all to see is you don't have to be that masterful in drawing. In Illustrator, you all can draw a circle, yeah? So you go to the circle tool. I'm going to make this, again, like I did the other day, something you can see really easily. I'm going to fill it with nothing. So I went to the color panel, fill with none, stroke, bring the stroke forward so you can activate it. And I'm going to go here and make it stroke in magenta so we can see it, right? And now with my circle, I can make a circle right here for the giraffe's face, and I'm holding my Option key to draw from the center of a circle and my Shift key to constrain it to make a perfect circle. Okay? There's one circle. I'm going to go to the center of this circle, click here, hold my Option key to draw from the center of the circle, my Shift key to constrain it to keep it a circle, and I have two circles. Okay? Let me make it a little smaller. Now, I'm just going to draw my circles. Then you have a circle here, right? And you have a circle here doing the same thing. You have two nostrils, and it's not a circle, so I'm just holding my Option key down, and I get an oval out of it. Yeah? All right. If I want to duplicate my oval, I go to my Selection tool, I hold my Option key down, get two arrows, and I got an oval. Now, this is what I want to do. I want to take this circle here, the big one, hold my Shift key down, take my second circle here. I'm going to fill these with yellow so you can see this happen at the same time. Oh, that's kind of green. That's not good. You had a pretty golden yellow. There we go. And I got them to active. They're both selective. They're both active. I can go to Window, Window Pathfinder, and how Pathfinder works is it does things with two shapes that are selected or many shapes selected. And I'm going to unite these. So now by uniting them, I've got my giraffe's head. So if you found this animation image in Shutterstock, like the lion, and you didn't want to pay for it and you wanted to learn Illustrator, here's a really easy start for you. And then I'm going to take the two eyeballs here that you had, and you filled them with white, if I remember right, and you stroke them with black, if I remember right. Yep. And I can go to Window, Stroke, which is just drawing a line, and I can increase the weight of the stroke. Yep. Oh, here, I can look on them on the right. Silly me. And here I can select these two, right here and here. And again, I can go to my color pane, stroke it with nothing, go to my fill, and fill in with black. And then I can click off of this so nothing's active. I can take one of these ovals, hold my Option key down, drag it over to here, because you made a little eyeball out of it, and I can go to my scale tool and I can scale it down, right? And then I can go to the one on the right, go back to my selection tool, hold my Option key down, add my Shift key to constrain it so the eyes are lined up like you did. Click here and go back to my scale tool, click from my point of origin, hold my Shift key down so I scale proportionally, and now I have a smaller eye. And again, you don't have to be able to draw. I mean, I'm stealing your illustration, Emily, is what I'm doing by drawing it using these tools. And then the other thing I could do is I could, for example, I don't want to get too fancy with you guys. I can take an oval, I can create the ear, or I can take, what do I want to do to make your ears? Your ears are really cute. I'll just leave it. There's our oval. And then I can eyedrop the color of the giraffe. I can go to the rotation tool and I can rotate the ear. I can take my selection tool, the black arrow, move it here. I can go to the reflect tool, hold my Option key down as the point of origin to reflect, which is the center of the head, and vertically reflect it and copy it, and I get my other ear. And again, I can select the head, hold my Shift key down and select the two ears, go back to that Pathfinder tool that made it one shape, and there it is. And because it went in front of the eyeballs, because it lined up with the newest shape, I can go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And I can turn off my pink stroke. And so you helped us create a cute little giraffe, right? And if I turn off your layer right here, you can see I developed a character. This is kind of like being 5 years old when you used to draw with circles out of a book to build dogs. And how many of you did that? No? I did. Yeah. Okay. And then giraffes have those cute little horns. And if I remember right, they're more like, they might be like this little rectangle. And then I think they might have like a little oval thing on top. Is that true?
Yeah.
Like a little, like that? With that? I don't know. All right. And then, so again, I could take those. I can make them one shape. I can turn them into brown by going to my yellow and playing with my slider tool till I get what looks like a good color to me. I can go to Object, Arrange, and send it to the back because I don't want it growing out of the front of the head. And I can hold my Option key down and I can duplicate it, and it's got these little horns. And then I can, there's also a tool here in Illustrator which is kind of nifty. And I'm going to make my canvas taller for my giraffe, which is right here, my Artboard tool, which gives me the crop marks for my canvas. And I'm holding my Shift Command Option key down to zoom out because I want to make my canvas taller because I want a tall giraffe. The advantage of getting a tall giraffe, using my black arrow, I'm selecting everything, I'm moving my giraffe up here. The advantage of creating a whole giraffe with all its legs is you can crop little parts of it for different parts of your game. So I'm not looking at a giraffe, but I'm just going to go by memory. There's a tool in Illustrator which is called the blob brush, which is this. And the blob brush is a circle, like when you paint in Photoshop. And if I use my bracket key, I can make my blob brush bigger. And right now, I can click off of this, select the yellow, and that's the color my blob brush is going to paint with. And with the blob brush, it's going to adjoin this shape of my giraffe unless I do it separately. And I think I want my head separate from my body. But here's going to be my giraffe's neck, and I'm just painting this. But when I'm done, you'll see, the giraffe's neck get fatter? Probably does. You'll see that if I go to Command Y and view it, it made just one shape for me. And as long as I continue to draw in this shape, like the body, and I bracket larger, so I'm going to do this faster, bigger bracket. I'm going to cover more ground faster, right? And I'm going to make my blob brush narrower now. And I have one leg and a narrower one for the back and another leg.
What's
And
the key combo for shrinking the brushes?
brackets, they're brackets.
Oh, okay.
Bracket bigger, bracket smaller. And there's my giraffe, and I make a really, really smaller brush. This is just the blob brush. It's just a really fast way to do it. And here's my giraffe's tail. And now I can go back to the blob brush, and I'm going to, and notice it draws with a line instead. I forgot that about it. And I'm going to turn this into a bit of a brown here, and a darker brown, darker blacky brown. We'll see how dark it is. And now I have a giraffe, right? Don't giraffes have spots?
Yes.
Okay, good. I haven't been to the zoo in a while. Okay, so here's my giraffe. And so it really wasn't that big of a deal. And then I think the end of the giraffe's tail looks like that, doesn't it? Maybe, I don't know. In my giraffe it does. So now I feel like my body's disproportionate to my giraffe. I probably need a bigger neck, longer, and so forth. So again, I'm just going to make my canvas bigger. And the reason I'm demoing this isn't obviously because I'm a brilliant artist. I want to demystify the tools that you have to work with here. So I'm going to select my giraffe body, and I'm going to go to my scale tool, and I'm going to click here as my point of origin, and I'm not going to constrain proportions because I think I want my giraffe to just get a little skinnier and maybe have some longer legs. I think they have big knees, don't they? Okay, so I'm back to my blob brush, and here's the knees, and here's the knees. Now it's looking more giraffe-y, don't it? What do you think?
Yeah.
And I'd certainly be looking at something. We'll see if it covers up my brown. It might. Yeah, it did. And and then I think I take my giraffe head and marquee all of it and group it, object group, so I don't lose an eye while I move it around. And then I might go to my scale tool and take my giraffe and scale its head a little bit, and then maybe choose to rotate it because he's curious, or because he's going to eat the trees at the top of the leaves, the leaves at the top of the tree, or something like that. And then what happens is, now let me select all, Command A for my giraffe, and I'm going to save this as giraffe. And what I want to show you is how to work with an Illustrator file in InDesign. I'm going to save it as a native Illustrator file. InDesign likes when you put native files in InDesign, meaning if you save an Illustrator file, it places happily in InDesign. If you place a Photoshop file, it places happily in InDesign. And then if you want to edit it, it's very easy to do, and I'll show you about that. So here's our giraffe, and I'm going to save it and say OK. And then I'm going to make another file, new, Command N, say OK, and I would probably use your Kuler palette for this as a guide. But let's say I can also take the pencil tool. There's a pencil tool somewhere in Illustrator. Here it is, pencil tool. And I can draw a leaf, right? And I can fill my leaf with green and I can change it from stroke to fill, and I can add a little darkness to it and make it a little lighter. There. And then I can take all these leaves and I can click all these leaves, one leaf, and I can click, hold my Option key, I can click on rotate, click anywhere, hold my Option key and duplicate a leaf. I can scale the leaf. If I go to the scale tool, click a point of origin, drag and hold my Shift key to make it smaller. And I can make a whole bunch of leaves by just holding my Option key down and building them. And I can make a bunch of leaves by rotating them and rotating them different ways. And I can also take these leaves and I can change their opacity or their color. So I can make this a darker leaf. I can make this a yellower leaf. I can make this a muckier leaf. That's a word. And here we go. And then I can take all these leaves, and again, I can hold my Option key down and duplicate them. And now, if I take these leaves and I start to build my tree branch, and I start to create a cluster of leaves, I'm going to create maybe the illusion of a tree, right? And I'm sorry, it should have been turned off. By the way, my dog is okay. She came home from the hospital. I knew you guys would care. So now you can start to see that we've got a tree, and we can take all of these, copy them, and I can paste them. I can group them. Ungroup them. Let me paste them. Copy them. Command C. Paste them. Command V. Change the opacity of all of them, send them to the back, or let's go to Object Arrange, bring these to the front. And now I've got more of a tree. Yeah? You with me on that? Okay. So now I can just save this and call it leaves and say save as leaves. Okay. So I've built another Illustrator file to work with. Say okay. Now, I think on your assignment, there was a downloadable template for the size. There was a downloadable template for your grid, but there was also maybe a downloadable template for the size of an iPhone.
For the grid, can we just make our own and then
Please.
go with that?
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. And you could do it in InDesign or Illustrator or by hand. No problem. Okay? But in InDesign, I'm going to save this old document I had, update it. In InDesign, I want you to see how to start building this thing as you think about it. So you're going to have thumbnail sketches, but I'm going to make a new document in InDesign. This is InDesign. We're going to have a digital publishing display. That's the word I was looking for. We're not going to design for an iPad. We're going to design for an iPhone. And you won't have a bleed because your artwork will fit within this. You won't see the bleed of your artwork. And say, okay, and oops, my screen's horizontal. I want to make it tall because it's a giraffe game. So I can go to Document Setup and change it to be tall, not wide. There we go. And so this is the size of the screen display for an iPhone, okay? I didn't need to know, I didn't need to look up any measurements. Now, what did you have? You had a blue sky, Emily? A blue background, right. So in InDesign, I can mix swatches just like I did in Illustrator, or in InDesign, this here, CC Libraries, would be your color library. So if you go to Window, Color, Adobe Color Themes, this is the part I didn't explain clearly the other day. When you're in Kuler and you log into Kuler using your Adobe ID, and you create a color panel, I can't demo it because I can't log in on this machine in InDesign. It's not my account. But when you're in Kuler and you log in with your Adobe ID, when you're on your home computer and you have cloud, you are logged in to your ID. your color themes from Adobe Color will pop up right here. So my color themes will show up in this window. Or I can make them here and save them. So let me pick a set of complementary colors. Let me pick some golden ones and blues, because that's actually a super good palette for my giraffe. And I want to make one of the blues lighter, like a sky blue. Do you see how I tuck that in? And maybe make one of the yellows a little softer. But that's a pretty nice palette. And I'm going to call this color theme Giraffe. And I'm going to call it and save it. And now I have a color theme. And if I go to my swatch panel, I should be able to load my color themes. Let's see.
Saying
This
you
is
have to
new.
sign in to save it.
To save it, oh, it says I have to sign in. You must sign in to save a theme. Okay. Yeah. It didn't used to be that way, and it used to be you could download, like if you have an old version like 6, you could download something called an ASE file, Adobe Swatch Exchange, and load it. But this way they're controlling it. And John's making a lovely video for you about Adobe Color. So,
It's confusing. There
Yeah.
still are ASC files.
okay, so I must sign in to save it. But let's see if this works. I haven't tried this before, but let's wing it. Come on, be nice to me. Usually, you can just drag things over, but it's not letting me. It's a pain. And that's why it used to be more flexible, but it's not. But anyway, this is a good color palette. Let's see if we can kind of wing it here.
You can see the values there, so you could create it. But
Yes, I can see the values.
It's still more annoying than just
And I
dragging.
can, exactly, and I can recreate it based on that. Let's see if later I can eyedrop it. But anyway, so I'm going to create a rectangle in InDesign, and right here I'm going to make this my sky. And let's see if it'll let me eyedrop it. So here's my eyedrop tool. No. Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Can't you make that into a,
You can screenshot it.
No. Oh, well, let's see.
watch this, you can drag themes into the,
You must sign in.
so that's where you're, yeah.
I just think I just lost it too.
You can go to Cooler, to Adobe Color CC at the website, and create it there. If you publish it as a public theme, you can then import that theme into InDesign on these machines. And that might sound convoluted, but that's what you have to
Yeah, it
do.
sounds complicated. Yes, but you're right. You can. John's absolutely right. So I'm going to work in the CMY color space because that's how my brain works, to be really honest with you. And I can just type in like both John's just said, 48, 35, oops, 35, and 0, and 0. And here's my blue. And now what I can do is I can drag this little color swatch I made down here. Let me build this into CMYK2. Come down here. There it is. There. I added my blue. Okay. And if I don't like it, I can change the tint of my blue because it's pretty blue. And then I can go to File, Place, Command D. File, Place, there it is. Locate my giraffe. Locate my leaves first. Click Open. My cursor loads with a graphic. And I can click, and my graphic sits there, and I can pull it on the page. And I can also copy it, and I can paste it again, Command V. And I can scale my box down by holding my Shift key. And I can go to Object Fitting, and I can fit the content proportionally to the frame, so it gets smaller. And I can take this background one. I can also change the opacity of that one, right? And I can take the one in front here, and I can take them both. They're actually both too big. And I can shrink them down just by scaling them down with a percentage in the upper left corner. And click off of it, go to Command D again, locate my giraffe, click open, and here's my giraffe. And if you look at this in preview mode, right here, that's what I've got. My giraffe's too big. I can move my giraffe over, and again, I can scale my giraffe down until I'm happy with my giraffe smaller. Because my giraffe's going to eat the leaves. Maybe I can go back to my giraffe in Illustrator and rotate its head. And the reason why I like you to have Illustrator as a native file in InDesign is, if I click here and I hit my control button, look at this, it says Edit Original. And because it's an Illustrator file, and because I saved it as an Illustrator file, it's going to go right back to Illustrator, Edit Original, and I can click on my giraffe's head, which you remember was grouped. Remember, that's why I grouped it. Go to my rotation tool, click in the center, and rotate its head to eat the trees. Let's go all the way up. There. There he goes. And save this as a second giraffe. And we're going to say giraffe eating. Save it. Okay. Close the window, Command W to close that. There we go. And with this box active here, go to File, Place. It's going to replace this giraffe. I'm going to go to my giraffe eating. It's going to place it at the exact same size this one is. And now my giraffe is eating, but his head is in front of his neck. I mean, behind his neck. Ouch. And to go back and fix it, I have to just hold my Control key down, go to Edit Original, say, oops, sorry, that hurts, and go to Object Arrange, Bring to Front, and watch what happens. Comes forward, I save it again, but because I did this through InDesign, it's going to update automatically, which is the magic of InDesign and Illustrator together. I didn't have to relink it or do anything. Now, if I zoom out a little bit here, you'll see that's not a bad layout, right? And if I, what if I want to create some grass? I can go to my leaves file. Is this helping you guys? Yes, okay.
I was gonna say, just in case anyone does this and they're concerned about the fact that you see all these jaggies on there, there's different display previews.
Yeah, when you design something in Illustrator, you see how it's all looks rasterized and chunky? That's because there's a preview display. A vector image will always be beautiful if it's linked properly. There's a screen display right here with that active. I can go to Object, Display Performance, High Quality, and all the jaggies vanish. It doesn't change your artwork, it just changes how you see it. The other thing is, if I want grass, let's say, in the background, I can take my leaves, I can go to Edit Original, I can take, I don't need most of these, let me just take one group, move it over, oh, sorry, one group. Let me delete these. Let me take these, go to my rotation tool, rotate these around, and then I'm going to my scale tool, clicking at the top, and scaling so these are really skinny. And I'm going to line them up like blades of grass. See, I'm a lazy designer, right? Can you guys tell? It's not brain surgery. I can also flip this. So I go to my rotation tool, go to the pull-out menu, go to the reflect tool, click on that, flip it vertically, go to this one, go to my scale tool, make this really tall. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want you to see the value of creating your own artwork, because I want you to get the sense of, oh, it's really not that hard. I don't like that one. And I want you to have flexibility with it. And I can scale these, again, go to my scale tool. Let's make them a little taller. And now let me go to my selection tool, hold my Option key down, and now I've got some grass to work with. Yeah? Okay, now I got to resave this as grass. Same color palette, worked with some shapes, not so hard, just duplicating things. Now I'm going to close that window, come here, and that's okay. And then I hit Command D, locate the grass, say open, and I'm going to place it really small. I'm going to click and drag small here. And I'm going to bring it to the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to hold my Option key here and duplicate it again. So now it looks like my giraffe's behind the grass, but I'm going to pull him to the front, which is Object Arrange, bring to front. Oops. And then I'm going to hit Command D for File, Place, locate my lion, because I don't want to ignore him. I spent time on him, right? And we're going to make him really stealthy. And we're going to put him behind the grass. And so clicked on my grass, go to Object, Arrange my grass, bring to front, and the giraffe is unknowingly being stalked by my lion. What do you think? And so now what we really have to decide is what's, here I can group these two leaf things. Let me view this so you can see all my boxes. So I can click this leaf, hold my Shift key down, click the other one, move them both out of the way up here. And what's this game called? This game is called Giraffe's Matching Zoo. So one of the things that Emily did is she chose a tall condensed font because giraffes have long necks and giraffe's the longer word. So she mixed up her uppercase and lowercase. Giraffe is all uppercase or small caps. She tried a condensed font. She has a different font than Matching. And Zoo is probably the same font as Matching, but it's all uppercase, right? Did I do that right? Yeah. Okay. And what I want you to do is some type studies. Like so I compliment you for thinking it through that way. Tall condensed font for giraffe. You can do your type studies in Illustrator. Sometimes what I do is I make my headlines in Illustrator. I went back to Illustrator, and I'm going to call this giraffe name. Sometimes I make my titles in Illustrator. And Illustrator is not good for body copy, large amounts of type. But it is good for like 3 lines of type, like Giraffe Matching Zoo. So here I click here for the word giraffe, and I'm going to select it. And the same tools in InDesign, they're similar type tools. But you go to type, and God, I don't do type very often. I'm not used to demoing type in Illustrator. But I'm going to go right here to the character panel, which is the same thing. And I'm going to scroll through it and look for a condensed font. And you all remember, don't squish your font, right? Remember that? Find a font that's already a condensed style. So here's Futura, and it looks like to me it's Futura condensed. So I'm going to start in simple, and then I'm going to change my point size to 72 point. And that actually looks very giraffe neck-like. Yeah? Okay. I'm kind of happy with that. So this might be giraffe, and then I'm going to hold my Option key down, take my type here, go to the type tool. I duplicated it with my Option key, and I might, when I think of matching, I think of 2 things identical, and I think of them both being flopped at the same time when you turn over both cards and they're both matching. So my brain starts to think like that, okay? So maybe I say Matching in all uppercase, space, and Zoo in all uppercase. And maybe this isn't condensed, but it's the same font family. And I go to medium, and I scale it down significantly, so giraffe is much bigger. And I don't get me wrong, Emily, doesn't mean I'm right, okay? You understand? What you did is fine. And maybe what I do, just because it's fun, is I go to my reflect tool, I hold my Option key down, I get the reflect window, and I horizontally, horizon line reflect it. And maybe what I do is I make that like a 10%, because it's a matching zoo. I don't know. I'm just winging it with you guys, just demo stuff to you. And so maybe that's my title, but it looks kind of not fun. And that's okay. I'm going to leave it in black just for the moment because I don't want to get too carried away. And I might just make this bigger so it's all kind of justified, right? And then I'm going to save this. Save as giraffe name. Save it. Okay. And then I come to my InDesign document here, go back to File Place, Command D. Let me get rid of that type box I started. Command D. And go to giraffe name, open. My cursor loads. And maybe I set it, oh, look how small that is. Let me go back and make it smaller. Edit original, right? Holding my control key down. Let me just change the size of this little canvas here. Save it again. Let's see what happens. There it goes. And again, it's exceeded the boundary of my box now, so I click on this, object fitting, and I fit the frame to the content. And I fit the frame proportionally. Well, let's see, fit the frame to the content. There we go. And I don't want that to be so gray, so I can also, in InDesign, I'm showing you all these tools. You can go to Window and Effects, which gives you a whole bunch of choices. It's like layer panels in Photoshop, and I can multiply that, which means it overprints the blue. And now you see that shadowy effect to the matching zoo stuff? Okay. So now we look at this. Okay, so I'm going to save my document. And okay. So now I've got a layout, and what I wanted to show you with this is that we can mix and match all these elements. So I can scale up the name, holding Command Option Shift, and I can put Giraffe Matching Zoo here, take my giraffe and bring it in front, because even though the FF is blocked a little, we sure know that's giraffe. Yeah? All right. The other thing I can do for my other layout, this is exactly what you guys just did when you took that one ad with those graphics and you reproportioned everything. So I can take this artwork in my page panel, with it active, duplicate the spread. Now I'm on page 2. And with page 2, I can decide that my lion is ferocious and it's bigger. And I could decide that because my lion's also a mom, so it's got a little baby boy lion back there. And I'm going to change and send it to the back. So object arrange, send to back, which is going to go behind the sky. Take the sky, object arrange, send to back, right? Because it's a matching zoo, I might reduce the size of my giraffe and put my giraffe out behind the grass and put the grass in front of my giraffe, object arrange, bring to front. The smart key for that was Command Shift and bracket. And because it's a matching zoo, I might hold down my Option key and duplicate my giraffe and change the opacity just to differentiate it, because everything is going on in 2s here. Yeah? Why not, right? And I'm not sure what this is. What was that? Oh, that was leaves. No, that was nothing. I don't know what that was. I'm trying to get a hold of my little lion there and change the opacity to that one so it's a little lighter in the background. There. And now I have Giraffe Matching Zoo in pairs, and I'm reducing the size of my title, and I'm going to put it up here. And now I have a different layout. Yeah, you all following me? So once you've got your illustrations, you can do all kinds of things. I can hold all my grass here, and I can scale the grass and just leave it like I'm crouched down in the grass. Yep. All right. So now you understand that once you've got your elements and they're separate files, they're easier for you to work with. Okay. So I'm going to save that. So one of the things that you looked at, Paul, is you went to like Vecteezy, right? Was that what you went to?
I went on the first site. I think it might be this one.
Or did you do this? Did you do this, Sam? And you
Yeah.
typed,
They both the ones I tried.
okay.
Redirected me to
And what did you
Shutterstock.
look for?
Drift cars.
What did you ask for? What did it say?
Drift car.
Drift?
Yeah.
Cars.
Yeah.
What's a drift car?
It's one of the games you gave us.
What is a drift car?
The car that goes sideways.
Okay. But it's just a car, right?
You know those cars that slide around and
No, I understand, but it's just, we only need to look for car. Is there a special kind of drift car?
A little bit.
There is.
Yeah.
What are they, like stock cars?
Well, I mean, if you're
Yeah,
looking for
racing
an image,
car.
you'd want one to be turned sideways. Like, I mean, if you're looking for an image like that,
Well, let's look at drift cars so I get the game. Do they keel or something?
yeah,
Is that what they do?
kind of. You can look it up.
So really what you're looking at with images for drift cars game is you're looking at cars that are doing speed and you're looking at cars that have three-dimensionality to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just cars. You're just looking at specific angles for a drift car.
Mhm.
Okay. Because they can be anything. They're supposed to be cool cars, right?
Well, it's
Not
usually a
anything.
car that is stripped of all the weight, so.
Okay.
you can put a huge image.
Okay. Then you probably aren't going to find a drift car on these websites. Probably not, which
I
might
wasn't expecting to.
Okay, which might be why you'll need Live Trace to pull it off, right? Might be. Or you need to know 3D modeling, right? But let's go back here to Vecteezy, and let's look at car. And what happens is when you're on Vecteezy, the first thing they do is they sell you everything, so you don't want to go where it says Shutterstock, because that's a paid ad for Shutterstock. So you immediately have to go down further to where it's not paid stuff and look. And not paid stuff, a green premium means you're going to pay. Don't go for that. But let's say we want this guy. That looks like a pretty cool drift car to me. Yeah? No? Sam's like, no, Vicky, get with the
It'd be
program.
Very expensive.
Yeah, but you know.
Sure.
Okay, what about these? They gave you different color ones. Do we have to pay for this one? Yep, took us to Shutterstock.
That'll work for us.
All right, so we'll do this for the moment. So I don't want to learn more. Will automatically download, which, see, I'm not patient. I have warned you of that, right? And it's slowly in my downloads folder, loading, a whole minute of it. But I want you to know what to do when you get vector graphics. This one's going to be annoying, honestly, I can tell you. It's got very complex highlighting to create that gradient modeling. It's going to exhaust you. It's going to be a lot of color. I mean, a lot of gradients. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go to downloads. Let's scale up. It's going to open up a zipped folder. Here's our zip folder called Sports Car Vector. We're going to go to the free vector package, try and ignore all the nonsense they gave us. Don't work with a JPEG, that's a raster image. Let's just drag this Illustrator file into Illustrator and we'll see how they built it for us. So here's what we've got. There we go, which looks pretty cool. So down below here in Illustrator is all the stuff we don't want. So I can use my white arrow, marquee this stuff at the bottom, which is this type, and I can delete it. I can also view this in outline mode and see how complex it is. It's back to paint by numbers, isn't it? So you have to figure out what you're looking for. So back to here, if I click on anything, I have to see what it is. So it's got some frame around it, and then I click again, and here's the car. It won't let me get to the background, but I can get to the car. So I'm going to go to Command X and cut the car out, close this window and say goodbye to it because it confuses me. Make a new file, Command N, you all know this, for my Illustrator document right here, and paste my car right there, right? So now I've got my car file just like this. And again, I can change my canvas by going to the artboard right there and changing it to the scale of the artboard. And now I've got my almost drift car, my Indy car, right? My Indy car. But so here again is a free vector file. You have to know how to get rid of the stuff. We're going to call it Indy car. And save it on the desktop. And again, if we're in InDesign and we're creating our new game, let me drag down here, and we go to Command D, File Place, and we place your Indy car in my document. We can place it here, really large, coming into the scene, right? And I can hold my Option key down and reduce it, hold my Command Option Shift, or I could just do that percentage thing. It's not going to do it. Let me do it this way again. And I can change this one. I can go back and I can change the color. I don't want to get too complicated with you guys with this, but you can change the colors by recoloring artwork pretty easily in Illustrator. Do you guys have an interest in seeing that? Yeah? Okay. Let me go back to Illustrator. So I'm going back to hold my Control key down, Edit Original, takes me back to my Illustrator file. There's something in Illustrator, I don't use it very often. I think it's Illustrator. Color. Color guide. Recolor artwork. Where is it? Let me select this. Let me select our whole car. I haven't demoed this one in a really long time. Let me figure it out. Tools. Mask, color map, live trace, live paint. You can live paint it. Let me look for recolor artwork. For all I know, they could have gotten rid of it. It's launching Safari for me. Might be in my Adobe Color panel, I just haven't done it in my new one. Oh, we could watch a video. Let me turn off the sound for a second of the video and just see where it puts us. Because I think they've moved it. Yeah, but I don't think this is Creative Cloud. Pause ours. Sorry, I think, oh, there it is. My cursor's loaded with 5 graphics. Let me close this because it's annoying. And now I've got my giraffe zoo headline. I've got my giraffe. And now I actually, by seeing this, I understand how you built your files, and it helps me understand. It also helps you understand what you're working with, right? And then further down, I can duplicate this page. Let me close this one. I can duplicate this page right here. It's active. Duplicate the page because it's developing illustrations. And now I can marquee these and delete them and hit Command D and go to my Matching Zoo folder, which created, I thought that I created a PDF, I did, which has 3 pages to it, the car page, 2 giraffe pages. So if I show import options, right here, I open it, I want to show all my options, I click all. I say, okay, my cursor loads with 3 pages again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And now you're starting to show your progress of how you're building something, right? Y'all follow that? And again, save this document. And it's a container for everything. I want to give you class time to work on this because you're learning this new software. Next week, I just really want you to focus on this. I want you to focus on the rest of this week, bringing your design, well, your design principles you brought in. Everybody's clear about that now. Bring in your thumbnails and your design brief, comprehensive, uploaded to that website that says thumbnails, and we'll review everybody's. If you want to know if you're lost in the technology of your game, like I don't know how to illustrate this, help me. Let's critique them together on Tuesday. Does that work for everybody? Yeah? Okay. Was that helpful for you to see this kind of evolve? Yeah? Okay. So you have an hour-ish. Use this time to start mastering the technology if you're challenged by it. And John and I are here to help you with it. Yes? And don't forget that you have a quiz, and don't forget you have a article summary. Okay? All right, enough talking, right?